Hello, my name is Paula Cohen. I'm from the University of Florida ASDA chapter, and I'm a fourth year. This is my application to present a breakout session at the National Leadership Conference. My idea is to present an advocacy breakout session on being politically minded when you're not a politician. I figure since it's turning out to be a pretty interesting election year, it would be fun to do a session on how to be politically minded the rest of the time, meaning how you can get involved in local politics, be active in some kind of political action committee like AdPAC or your state PAC, as well as just being knowledgeable about how the government works and realizing that a lot of our day-to-day lives are determined by our local and state representatives rather than our president and vice president. So this is just kind of an outline of what I'd want to present. I'd want to begin with just kind of going through Politics 101, including discussing the difference between like legislative branches of the government, such as the House and Senate, and regulatory branches of the government, like the EPA, as well as touching on how special interest groups get involved, and then just talking about like why bother. A lot of people our age kind of have this idea that their voice doesn't matter. I love this quote by Thomas Jefferson because it's so true. We don't have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. And so if we don't voice our opinion, if we're not at the table, then nobody's listening. One of the things I wanted to do during the session, I want to touch on some of the action alerts and some of the legislation that's pretty current. So one of them is Section 1557. There was actually just an ADA alert sent asking us to write to our representatives about this. Basically, Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act states that healthcare professionals, amongst other things, must provide interpretation services. I think it's the most common 15 languages of their area, which obviously, for dentists that are small business owners would be a huge financial burden. And Section 1557 in general is very hard to interpret. It's not very clearly laid out. And so this was asking for a delay in actually enacting this portion of the Affordable Care Act. I love the ADA Engage website, especially their elections page, because you can break it down by your state, you can break it down by your local government, and they tell you who your representatives are, the legislation for your area, things like that. So then I want to touch a little bit about, being at the table and how we can effectively lobby. Obviously talking about how ASDA is lobbying every day for our interests and the upcoming joint Hill Day with the American Dental Association. And then finally just talking about AdPAC, which I like to call the tooth party. Politics is so much bigger than party lines. It's, what is best for our profession. That's just kind of a brief overview. I'm definitely going to work on it if I'm selected, get it really polished. I just think that this would be a great breakout session for people both that are very experienced in lobbying and advocacy with ASDA and as well as people that this may be their first time even hearing about advocacy or, lobbying. Thank you for your consideration, and I hope to see you guys at the National Leadership Conference this year.